Good evening, folks. Welcome to the Banks account. I'm your host, Kareem Banks, and welcome to week 9 of the National Football League. Pretty much by this point, know what I do here. I look at the games, analyze them, tell you who's going to win, give you my predictions. You let me know if you agree, disagree, think I'm a scumbag, whatever the case may be. Um, but we'll get into it. We're like I said, we are in week 9 already. By the way, I want to give a congratulatory shout out to the world champion, the now world champion San Francisco Giants, for winning the World Series. By the way, does anybody care that San Francisco Giants won the World Series? I don't think anyone outside of Southern California and Missouri really give a hell whether who won that game. I don't know. No one's really talking about it, but I'm just going to say it anyway. Congratulations to the San Francisco Giants for winning the World Series. By the way, the LeBron James return didn't go so well last night, as I wish it wouldn't have. I'm getting kind of tired of that guy and his nonsense, by the way. That's a whole nother story. Let's get back to the NFL. We already got one game in the books. The Atlanta Falcons took care of the Carolina Panthers last night, 28-10. I mean, it was as expected. I mean, Carolina right now, they're just on a decline right now. They're not getting anything done. Their defense is just a shadow of what it used to be from a year ago. Atlanta, on the other hand, is starting to get their rhythm back offensively. Still not quite the offensive juggernaut that they've been the last couple seasons, but they're starting to get a little more consistency. Played much better on the road last night, as they're not a good road team. We saw Mark Ingram run the football, 30 carries for Mark Ingram. Saw him last week. He put up a $172 against the Green Bay Packers defense. Last night he ran the ball 30 times, which shows that New Orleans is consistent. They're sticking with the run. They're pounding the rock, pounding away, hoping to get something done. Keep from Drew Brees from dropping back so many times. Mark Ingram, 30 carries, 100 yards, got into the end zone twice. That's really all that matters. Carolina, on the other hand, I mean, what can you say? Cam Newton, the problem is they just haven't aligned anything with the young man. Cam Newton is a talent. He's a good quarterback, but he's got nothing to throw to. I mean, let me pull up his starting wide receiving core. His starting wide receiving core is Jericho Cotchery, Calvin Benjamin, Mark Greg Olson, and Jason Avant. That's who he's throwing to, man. Are you kidding me? This is just a head scratcher. And the sad thing is that the Panthers management or ownership / management said, let Steve Smith walk right out the door. They said, listen, Steve, thanks for all the time. You've done a good job. We wish you the best of luck. But we're going to move in another direction. Steve Smith is out in Baltimore balling out right now, and they're struggling to catch the ball. Cam Newton, let me check his finals, what his stats were, the stat line of that game. I think it was like 10 of 21 or some other kind of nonsense. Let me pull it up here. Give me just a second. Let's see. I know it wasn't much. He had 151 yards. Come on, internet. There we go. 10 of 28, 151 yards, 0 touchdowns, and he had a couple of turnovers. That's just not going to get it done in today's NFL. Hell, it's not going to get it done in yesterday's NFL. Drew Brees, efficient, 24 of 34, 297 and a touchdown. He did throw a pick early in the game, but nevertheless, Carolina Panthers take a loss. They take it on the chin, 28-10 to the Atlanta Falcons. They're pretty much done. Unless they win the division, which I don't think they will, I don't think they're going to get back into the playoffs. So I don't know what's going to go on out there with Ronnie Rivera, who I think they just re-signed. But unless they get some talent out there, you're going to see more of this out in Carolina. That's just the cold reality of this thing. But let's move on. Let's get into Sunday's games. Well, let me first get a little theme music going here. Boom, there we go. All right, let's you know what? Let's start down. Tell you what, let's start down in the Southeast. We got the San Diego Chargers traveling cross country to take on the Miami Dolphins. The 5-3 San Diego Chargers taking on the 4-3 Miami Dolphins. The Chargers are getting 2.5 in this football game. Miami's got a pretty stingy defense. They're ranked 5th in overall defense. So Drew Brees is going to have an easy time out there against that Dolphins defense and that oppressive heat down there in Miami. I know San Diego is warm weather, but that heat down in Florida is real. It's a different type of heat down there in Florida. You know, with the Dolphins and the Jaguars, teams go down there, they really struggle. But I expect Phillip Rivers to get it going again for this Chargers team. They've lost 2 in a row, so it's pretty much time for them to get back on track. I think they will today Sunday against the Miami Dolphins. Bottom line, it's going to come down to Phillip Rivers versus Ryan Tannehill. Dolphins still offensively, to me, don't really have an identity. I'm going to take Drew Brees. I'm going to take the San Diego Chargers. I'm going to take Antonio Gates. They're getting 2.5. Take the Chargers. They're getting 2.5 to beat the Miami Dolphins. Let's move to Cincinnati, where the Cincinnati Bengals are hosting the Jacksonville Jaguars. The 4-2 Bengals hosting the 1-7 Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, nothing much going on in Jacksonville, as we all know. They got Blake Bortles out there. He's kind of sort of feeling his way, through the season. You know, he's going to turn the ball over. He's going to make his mistakes as a rookie quarterback. They all do that. Cincinnati, on the other hand, they're getting A.J. Green back for this football game, which is huge for them. They're giving 10.5 in this game. I still think they'll cover. The Jaguars are playing good defense. I think they'll keep it tight, but I think ultimately, late in the game, Cincinnati will start to pull away. Give the 10.5. I know that's a big number, but give the 10.5 Cincinnati over Jacksonville. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the 1-6 Tampa Bay Buccaneers are traveling to Ohio to take on the 4-3 Cleveland Browns. Well, listen, very, very disappointing season for Lovie Smith and company. You know, they brought him in, figured he was going to have a profound effect on this Bucs defense, on this Bucs team, on this Bucs attitude. But they've been getting blown out, and I mean blown out badly in games as of late throughout the season. They're struggling at the quarterback position. By the way, they just signed their defensive tackle to like a $90 million contract. What was his name? Gerald McCoy, I believe his name is. You know, it never ceases to amaze me. Why would you pay a defensive tackle $90 million? Why would you pay any player that never touches the football $90 million? Especially, I mean, you didn't see that whole fiasco with what was his name out there in Washington? What's the guy? Hainsworth, that's his name. He came from Tennessee. He was the big free agent. Washington hurled $100 million, gave him like $40 million guaranteed bucks. $40 million. Then the guy was a total bust. They ended up cutting him. Why would you spend $90 million on a fucking defensive tackle is beyond me. Especially when you have no quarterback. I mean, I don't know. They let Darrelle Revis walk. I don't know. It's just beyond me. I mean, and then you look up and wonder why you're 1-6. Nevertheless, they're going to Cleveland. Cleveland coming off a bye. I'm not really convinced with Cleveland. I mean, I know they beat us. I get it, but listen, I'm not really convinced with Cleveland. But I think they'll beat Tampa Bay. They are given 6.5. That's a tough number. Give the 6.5. Take Cleveland to knock off Tampa Bay in this football game. Now the 3-5, couple of 3-5 football teams going at it up in the Twin Cities. We got the Washington Redskins traveling to Minnesota to take on the Minnesota Vikings. Well, Washington actually coming off a big win in Dallas. Nobody saw that coming, and if you did, you're lying. They're gonna get RG3 back, Robert Griffith III. He's gonna start this week for the Washington Redskins. So hopefully that'll get Alfred Morris going. Washington, by the way, a funny story. D'Angelo Hall, who's the cornerback for the Redskins, he tore his Achilles during the offseason. I don't think they expect him to come back this season, or maybe they did. I'm not sure. This guy tore his Achilles again at home. You can't make this stuff up. It's just amazing to me. Nevertheless, he's done. They're not going to see him till maybe training camp. So who knows what's going on with him in his career. Minnesota, on the other hand, much better. The offensive line played much better. They protected Bridgewater. By the way, I think you have something in young Theodore Bridgewater. Just give the young man time. Don't bail on him like the Buffalo Bills did E.J. Manuel. Don't bail on him like the New York Jets did Geno Smith. Give the young man some time. Let him work through his kinks. He's going to turn the ball over. He's going to make some mistakes. He's got to feel his way through this tough league. Just don't quit on him like some of these other teams do. I mean, you're not going anywhere in Minnesota. Let's be fair. I mean, you're not going. Adrian Peterson tanked your season this year with that old child abuse nonsense. Give the young man some time. Build your offensive line and work around getting some weapons around him. And I think you'll have something special at the quarterback position that you can hang your hat on for the next, 10 to 12 years. I think you got something in Teddy Bridgewater. He's going to play well. Having said all that, I like Minnesota at home. Take the Vikings. They're giving one to beat the Washington Redskins. Down in Houston, we got the 4-4 Houston Texans hosting the 5-2 Philadelphia Eagles. Now, a lot of hype coming around on this Philadelphia offense. This whole Chip Kelly stuff, high octane, high pressure offense, running, throwing the football. Hasn't really quite panned out. Last week we saw Nicholas Foles throw the ball 62 times. Now, again, like I said on my recap last week, this is not the Pac-10. This is not the SWAC. This is not the SEC or the Big Ten. You cannot drop your quarterback back to pass 62 times in the National Football League and expect anything good to come from it. Nothing good will come from dropping your quarterback 62 times to pass the ball. You have a Pro Bowl running back, Shady McCoy. Feed him that rock. Feed him. Feed him. Feed him. Feed him, man. Get him involved. What is this? You can't throw the ball 62 times and expect. You're, like I said last week, you lucky he didn't get carted off that football field. You keep doing it, he will get carted off that football field. You need to tone it down, Chip Kelly. Tone it down. Having said that, I don't think he will, because I think that's just in his nature. I think that's just in his style. I think that's just what he expects out of his quarterback, out of his football team. That's his philosophy. That's the way they do things. That's the way he coaches. That's his argument. That's the presentation he brought to the ownership of the Eagles. Say, hey, listen, this is what I'm gonna do. And the Eagles bought into that nonsense. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. Maybe. I don't think I am, but maybe I am. But I think you need to feed McCoy the rock a little bit more. Houston, on the other hand, they're going to feed their running back. They're going to feed Arian Foster the football. So Philadelphia, get ready for a heavy dosage of Arian Foster this weekend. I want to pull the trigger on Houston, but I won't because of their quarterback. I think Fitzpatrick will turn the football over. I think Philadelphia will win. Tough game on the road. They're giving 1.5. Shouldn't really matter. Take the Eagles. Give the 1.5 to win at Houston. Again, this is one I kind of struggled with. I was going to go with Houston, but Fitzpatrick. I'm not a believer in Fitzpatrick. Take the Eagles. Give the 1.5 at Houston. Okay. We got the New York Football Jets. A little too loud there. The New York Football Jets are traveling to Arrowhead to take on the 4-3 Kansas City Chiefs. Now, I spent a little time, jumping down on the Jets. I talked earlier about giving your quarterback some time to develop. We know a quarterback, he has to be able to get a good pre-snap read. He has to be able to read the defense, drop back, process information very quickly, and deliver accurate footballs. And we know that has not been going on or happening with the New York Jets. They're bouncing back and forth between Geno Smith and Michael Vick. Listen, you drafted Geno Smith. You said that he's your guy. Give him an opportunity. The problem here is, and it's unfortunate for Geno, is that you got guys like Rex Ryan that are coaching for their jobs. That's the problem. And they got to win now. They don't have time to allow you to develop. And that's the problem in today's NFL that I see. They're looking for that quarterback to come, hit the ground right out the gate. Not everyone can be a Ben Roethlisberger, where you can go 15-1 as a rookie. Not everyone can hit the ground and figure out this complex game in their first season. It takes 2, 3, 4 seasons for them to really, really understand the complexities of what they're seeing on that football field. The problem is coaches don't have 2, 3, 4 seasons to figure things out because the ownership is demanding that they win now. And I get it because you got asshole fans that'll torment you if you're not winning. I understand. It's a tough business. But you get paid millions of bucks, so you get no sympathy here. Here's the thing. They're going into a den of thieves in Kansas City. I don't like the Jets at all in this football game. I think they struggle start to finish. I think Tamba Ali gets a sack or two. I think Justin Houston is coming. They got Justin Houston on the other side. They're getting that pass rush. They're going to crank it up. I think Vic is going to turn the football over a minimum of 3 times, whether it's interceptions through the air or fumbling the football. I just don't see anything good coming out of this game for the New York Football Jets. I think Jamal Charles has a good game. I think that oh, what happened? Like I said, I think Jamal Charles has a good game. I think Alex Smith has a solid game. Maybe Dwayne Bowe gets into the end zone. Take the Kansas City Chiefs. Give the 9.5 to win against the New York Jets. 8 straight. That'll be 8 straight losses for the New York Jets. Next week it'll be 9 when my guys come to town. So the Jets are looking at 9 straight losses, and I think that might be curtains. They might end up getting Rex Ryan right out the building after that Pittsburgh game when we come into town and give you guys the business. All right, now let's move on. We got the Arizona Cardinals traveling, the 6-1 Arizona Cardinals traveling to Jerry's World to take on the 6-2 Dallas Cowboys. Now, if you notice, I'm very high on Dallas because of that offensive line. Washington blitzed the hell out of them on Monday night. Some say that they may have found the formula or whatever. They didn't really find a formula. I mean, it was just a bad night. They got caught off guard and they lost. Nothing more. But what really kind of disturbed me a little bit, we all saw Tony Romo get injured. Now, we know that Romo has a bad back. We know that he had back surgery during the off season. And if you're honest, you know that even these first few games, looking at Tony Romo, he's really, really not himself. You can see that there's something kind of bothering him when he drops back to pass or when he moves. He's not as fluid as he normally is. He took a shot and went down, and he laid motionless on his back for a few minutes until they finally got him up and whisked him into the locker room, where they obviously shot him up with some dope or some Novocaine or something and sent his ass back out on the field. What's scary is this is someone's back. This isn't a shoulder. This isn't an elbow, a wrist, a finger, an ankle, a toe. There are 3 parts of your bodies that are just absolutely vital to any type of quality of life that you think you want to have. That's your head, maybe your knees, and absolutely your back. Your back is nothing to play around with. What's scary is that Jerry Jones and those doctors just went back there. Yes. Okay. Out here. There you go.
And I want to take it too.
All right. There you go. Bye-bye. Bye. Sorry about that. Now, Jerry Jones and the doctors in Dallas just shot him up with Novocaine, ran back out on the field and said, hey, get him back in the game. That's scary. That's a scary thought, the way they treat these players. And this is a franchise quarterback, I might add. Now, wasn't a Super Bowl. This wasn't a NFC title game. Wasn't a playoff game. Hell, it wasn't even a regular season game that determined whether you got into the playoffs. This is week 8, Monday night game. And you're already in good position. You're 6-1 at the point. And they whisked him back in. It's another story altogether, another topic I can spend an hour on. I'm not going to bore you about it, but it's a pretty scary thought, the way they just whisked him back into the game, knowing that he had a bad back. And then he came out the next day, oh no, it wasn't that bad, it was just pain, blah, blah, blah. Man, that's your back. You do not F around with your back. Leave that alone. I like Dallas in this game. I think they'll bounce back. The Cardinals are bound to lose. They had a big win last week against the Eagles, but the Cardinals they're about ready to lose. They're about prime for a loss. Take Dallas. Give the 3.5. I like Dallas over Arizona. San Francisco is traveling to St. Louis St. Louis is traveling to San Francisco to take on the Rams. San Francisco coming off a bye. They're giving 10 points to the Rams. We saw them blow the Rams out in St. Louis on Monday night. Nothing going on in St. Louis. They lost Brian Quick. They're not getting Tavon Austin involved in the football game. Their quarterback position, they're a little unsteady, although I kind of like the young man's spirit, but he's going to have time to develop. Yes. All right, babe. All right, listen, I'm doing something right now. Okay? Go. Sorry about that. Again, nothing much going on in St. Louis. Defense has not lived up to its expectations. It's just what it is. Take San Francisco. Give the 10 points. They'll defeat St. Louis at home in San Francisco. All right, let's get to it. We got the game of the week, baby. The 5-3 Pittsburgh Steelers are hosting the 5-3 Baltimore Ravens. Now, the Ravens are favored to win in this game in our building, which is a little unusual, but nevertheless, it is what it is. You have to be brain dead if you are a Pittsburgh Steelers fan and not be fired up for this football game. You have to be brain dead if you are a Baltimore Ravens fan and not be fired up for this football game. It is Friday evening, Halloween. I am fired up for this football game. They gave us a beatdown week 2 out in Baltimore. We looked very, very sluggish. It's not going to happen this time. Sunday night game. It's in Heinz Field. Ben Roethlisberger coming off a 500-yard performance against the Colts. I'm not saying he's going to throw for 500 yards, but I think he's going to have a big day. I think Le'Veon Bell will have a big game. I think Antonio Brown will have a big game. I think Martavis Bryant will have a big game. We get this game, that'll be 3 straight games, 3 straight wins at home. And then we're going to go on the road, take on the Jets, and I think we get a bye at that point. I can't tell you how much I'm looking forward to this football game. Revenge factor. You already know who I like in this game. So that should be a foregone conclusion that I'm taking the Steelers to win this game. We're getting the 1.5. We're going to win it outright. I think we get to Joe Flacco a couple times. I think we're going to force a turnover or 2. Baltimore has no Jimmy Smith, if I'm not mistaken, in this football game. I think we exploit that. I think we're going to run the rock real well. And I like Pittsburgh. I love Pittsburgh in this football game. There's no way we lose this game. No way we lose this game. Take the Steelers. They're getting a point. 1.5. Take the Steelers to win at home against our arch rivals, the Baltimore Ravens. In New England, we got the New England Patriots, the 6-2 Patriots hosting the 6-1 Denver Broncos. To be honest with you, I'm getting a little tired of all this Brady Manning nonsense. I've had enough of it. I know they're great and all that, but we've seen enough of it. We've seen this story, unfold over kind of tired of it. We don't need to see it. We'll maybe see it in the playoffs, perhaps again. But nevertheless, the Broncos are giving 3 out at Foxborough. I know I'm running on time. Speed this up. The difference is this year Denver has a pass rush. Denver's got Von Miller on one side and DeMarcus Ware on the other side, baby. And they're coming at it. And they're bringing it. Dallas shouldn't have let DeMarcus Ware go, by the way. They're bringing the heat. Denver's secondary, they're playing well. Now, Tommy Brady, I still think he'll have a nice game. Gronkowski, we said, he's starting to control the middle of that football field. But I think Brady's going to need some more help. I kind of went back and forth. I thought Denver. I said, I'm going to go to New England. I'm going to go to Denver. I'm going to New England. But I think I'm going to take the Patriots. I can't stand the Patriots, by the way. But I can't stand Denver either, to be honest with you. Take the Patriots. They're getting 3 points at home against the Denver Broncos. Monday night, the New York Football Giants are hosting Andrew Luck and the Indianapolis Colts. Here's the situation. The Colts are an unusual team, man. They just keep coming. I don't care what the score is. They could be down 6 points, 10 points, 30 points. They just keep coming. Ask Kansas City in that playoff game. Ask Denver last year. They just don't stop. And that's that quarterback that they got, that Andrew Luck guy. They just keep coming. They're not going to give up, regardless of circumstances. They just keep coming. That's why we had to keep putting up points last week, because they just wouldn't stop coming. Having said that, I don't think the Giants have enough firepower to stay with the Colts. Colts got a pretty decent football team, pretty good defense also. I don't think the Giants are going to be able to score enough points. Even though they're at home, the defense isn't that good. The Giants' defense looks like they're ranked. Where are they at right now? They're in the middle of the road, 16th. I don't really like the Giants' defense. They do force turnovers. I think they'll force a turnover on Luck. But again, the guy just keeps coming. He just doesn't give up. He just keeps coming. He'll just keep coming. He'll just keep coming at you. That's just how they roll out in Indy. Take the Colts. I like the Colts in this football game. Give 3 points to win against the New York Football Giants. All right, I think that's it. 32 minutes. Wow, I really didn't mean to go that long, but nevertheless, it is what it is. Again, congratulations to the San Francisco Giants for winning the World Series. By the way, LeBron, he looked pretty crappy last night in that opener against the Knicks. They'll pretty much pull it together, probably. The Knicks, are they that good? I don't know. Only time will tell. We'll get into basketball later in the, when it really matters, like, February, March, really like March, April, May. I'm not a believer in the New York Knicks, by the way, so that win to me means absolutely nothing. But nevertheless, LeBron didn't look too good out there last night. But anyway, we'll see you next week. Actually, we'll see you Monday for the recap edition of the Banks Account. I am your host, Kareem Banks. We'll see you on Monday. We'll see you after the games on Monday.